I've been here 31 years, all here at Ventura Youth Correctional Facility. My whole career here, and it's been a great career. I started at age 21, and it's coming to a close here in June, but it's been an unbelievable career. When I first started, it was I was 21, so it was a kind of a daunting, intimidating layout here. We had over 1,200 youth in our institution at that time. And again, like I said, I was 21, and a majority of them, because we had what we called M numbers, were older than me. We housed them till age 24, and they would go, many of them would parole, but many would go to, state prison. And like I said, they were a lot older than I was, so it was quite a daunting task. Individual units, we had different, every unit was specialized. We had a drug unit, a pre-parole unit, a college unit, a working unit. So they were all specialized. And so the numbers varied. Our lowest numbers were 64 in a unit. Our highest was 94 on a unit. And our mental health units, we had, I believe it was about 46 on those two units, yeah. Our staffing was, we had one staff per every 30 youth. At age 21, I'm in the backyard with 30 youth by myself, right out of the academy. So it was sink or swim. You had to survive, and all your instincts had to come to the forefront. It was quite challenging, but I'm so grateful that I went through that and got through it and became the staff that hopefully that I turned out here at the end. The Farrell lawsuit, Margaret Farrell filed a lawsuit against the state of California. Basically, in a nutshell, was the programs they felt were limited and maybe not as many programs and treatment orientated as the public would want. What came out of that was actually pretty positive, in my opinion, where we had empirical research programs. It was more of a holistic approach where, education was involved, treatment was involved, security was involved, the outside community was involved, families became more involved, and we had programs that we were mandated. The medical department was upgraded. So I think in all, it became a much better care for the youth, a more holistic approach. And I think what it did was, I think it helped staff say it was okay to be treatment oriented. It was okay to humanize the kid. It was within policy to do that. Whereas when I first started in the early 90s, that might have been frowned upon because of their commitment offense and the victimization of a community. And I just think it gave us a license to grow as a staff and it's okay to be treatment orientated. And we all the staff we started hiring was more educated and kind of came into this field thinking they could make a difference. And we were on quite a roll here with our programs after the Farrell, and it's just very disappointing that it got put to a halt for whatever reason. But it was, each kid has their own parole agent, each kid has their own youth counselor, each kid has their own doctor, own dentist, own recreational coordinator. All these things that came about because of the Farrell just seemed to really, really benefit the youthful offender. And we as a staff became integrated with that treatment, and it became really, really fun until we came to a halt here with the governor's decision a couple years ago. It's funny, the legacy of us is going to be the treatment that we gave them in the family that a lot of times they didn't have in the community, because in an institution, we were a community. We have our own chapels, we have our own hospital, we have our own school, we have our own treatment center, living units, our own staff that have their own caseload. And like I said, all that kind of care, the kids really, really felt. I could speak, 31 years I spent here. This was an unbelievable institution that took pride in the treatment of the kids and the relationships we had. It was not as much transactional, but relational that our staff had with the kids. And it was a great institution here at Ventura. When you have 78-degree year round, you walk the campus, it looks like a college campus. It's a beautiful place to be, and the kids liked being here. So our legacy is going to be that we were at our best when our best was needed. You know what stands out, Mike, in my career here is the growth that I as an individual had. I grew up here. I was 21 and 52, 53 now, and is the staff that were there for me when my parents passed, and how we were there for the kids, the youth that it was kind of integrated. It was not work family separation. It was work-family integration here, where we got to be ourselves. And at this institution, it was just very, very unique. And I could tell you a story where my career really started shifting, and I became fulfilled here. Not just satisfied with accomplishments or things like that, but actually fulfilled when we knew we were making a difference with the kid. I had a kid by the name of, I probably shouldn't say his name. We had a youth here who I had in the central kitchen. And to make a long story short, he worked for me for 2 years. We developed a family atmosphere there with all the youth and the staff there. We ate together, played together, all that kind of stuff for 6 hours a day. And after 2 years, he got moved to college. So he didn't work for me anymore. And then what happened was he kind of fell back into his gang life on the unit. And I responded to his unit, and he was refusing to go down. I responded to his unit, and he saw me, his old boss, who he loved and treated like family. And he says, "Oh, Pinedo, not you. You don't put me down. I'm going to have to stay out." And in the meantime, there was several youth on the window, encouraging him not to go down. And to make a long story short, he looked at me, he looked at the youth, looked at me again, and he turned around and he cuffed. And what that said to me was, he picked me in the relationship over the peer pressure of the gang. And what was going to happen? He was going to have to pay the price for succumbing to me and going down and following my instructions. But he felt that relationship that we built for those 2 years when he worked for me in the central kitchen, he felt that more important than heeding to the pressure of his gang. And there's many stories like that, but I made a difference, and I felt I can do this with other kids. And it all became relational, not transactional, having relations, invest, seeing them when they're not in trouble, seeing them, just visiting them, what we call on the strength there. Hey, how you doing? How's your mom doing? How's your family doing? Checking on you. Or saying you're going to do something and follow through with it and come back and say, hey, did you get that paperwork you need? I made sure you got it. Or when they needed us to call the clinic, and we called the clinic, and then we said, hey, I saw that you went to the clinic. Hey, I saw that the nurse said everything's going to be okay. I just want to say, hey, I'm happy. Or, things like that, where you go out of your way, you give them that humanization where they felt that family, and we became the alternative, meaning like, oh, all policemen, men in uniform, women in uniform, people, peace officer, they're good people too. Maybe they didn't experience that on the street. So we became the alternative and the comfort that they really never felt for. And the goal, and you talked about legacy earlier, is, hey, maybe when they're 30, 35, they could be in a situation where they're mentoring, and they could say, hey, I remember that officer down there at Ventura. He actually humanized me. He actually cared about me. And they can implement that. And that's the goal, and that was the legacy, and that's the hope, and that's what we got here. And again, I grew up here, and I grew into that. I didn't have a passion for this job. I grew in for the passion for this job because I knew I was making a difference. And then as I got older, I did the same thing with staff. I really wanted to learn from staff. I wanted to be an example. Hey, things might be bad or it might be tough here, but let me be an example. Let me be an alternative to how we react when things don't go our way, or how it's going when things are going tough. We're not going to pout. We're going to say, hey, what an opportunity to grow and get better and work together and have a brother and sisterhood and create a family atmosphere here. And that's what we did. Again, that's the legacy. And I just wish everyone could, when the alarm goes off like I do, come jumping to work. And they say, my wife would say, what time is it? And I'd say, oh, it's 6:30. And she would say, but your shift don't start till 7:30. And I says, oh, baby, if you knew where I was going and you knew the people I was going to be with, you get up an hour early too. And that's kind of how we went here. We get to control our day here. And I just love that. I love that about the job, and I'm grateful for it. And as I was talking to you pre-interview, it's time, it's going to be 7 months. And this pictures, this documentation of what probably not going to be here. It started to hit me. Again, my whole adult life has been here, and it's starting to hit me. And it's heartfelt. And the difference we made here, but the difference these kids made too in my growing and maturation process will always be forever in my heart. It's tough for them, my empathy for them is great because they're in a different position than myself. I'm retiring, my service, and their career is kind of interrupted, and they're going to have to go. And I feel for them. I have friends that are moving their families and going to academies and interrupting just on a jolt And but what I tell them and mentor them is, at the end of this, you're going to be better for this. And it's the mentoring part for me was a learned. I wasn't always this way. Full disclosure. But when I found out that you can achieve things and still not be fulfilled, and the fulfillment part comes when you're giving back and you continue to grow. And my growth is knowing that service to others is what really truly makes me happy. And so my service has shifted a lot from the youth, because the youth are dwindling. They're going back to their counties, they're going to where they're going, and we're kind of left here with the staff, and they're the ones hurting, and they're the ones that need the mentoring, especially the younger staff. And I want to be here to serve them and help them in any way I can to try to embody someone who's lasted this tour and how I became better here for it, and to try to share with them and service them in any possible way I can to help them in their transition and assimilation to the second part of their career. I live in the here and now, and my goal right now, I have, and to go maybe teach at university and lecture, but my main focus in this 7 months is to give everything I have for the staff here and this place as respect, because I don't want to be the guy, oh, I get to go somewhere. No, I want to be here with the staff till the end, because I want them to look back on me just like the youth said, hey, that old guy cared. He cared. And when they see a family member of mine or something, hey, your dad generally cared. He generally was empathetic. He generally loved without conditions. He was a humble servant, and he committed acts of kindness. Those kind of things. When we talk about legacy, that's what we want. And I want these staff to see that it's not the facts that happen, it's how we interpret those facts. And I want to, as more of an example than to pontificate or preach to them, is how we're getting through these tough times. And I'm just empathetic without explanation, because I can imagine what they're going through with this closure, and again, their whole lives changing. So I just want to be there and service them and be as empathetic as I possibly can. I do want to say I'm very appreciative for this documentary, and for someone having the foresight to want to document through pictures this great career that we've all shared, and the people that shared it before us, in the old California Youth Authority to now DJJ, and very, very grateful for you capturing that and for you asking me to be a part of it.